I am sitting on the inside of your wrist, and you have no idea I am here. Your skin is 37 degrees, a warmth I detected from 12 meters away, a beacon that pulled me in through the dark. I folded my 6 legs against your finest hairs, distributing my weight across an area smaller than a sentence on this page. Your immune system has not registered me. My footprint is lighter than a falling eyelash, and I have had 200 million years to perfect the landing. But before what happens next, I need you to understand one thing. I am not your predator. I am not your enemy. I am a mother, 3 days from laying the eggs that will outlive me. What I need from your blood, the iron buried in your red cells, is the only thing that flowers cannot give me. My proboscis is not a needle. It is 6 instruments working as one. 2 blades parting your skin right now. 2 more holding the wound apart. 1 injecting a solution that numbs you and stops your blood from clotting. And 1, the thinnest hollow tube your science has ever known, reaching for a vessel. I find it. I begin to drink. And then the shadow of your hand falls across your wrist. I began as an egg in a world smaller than a coin. My mother laid me on still water. Not a river, not a lake, but 3 inches of rainwater sitting in the crack of a wall, a forgotten flower pot, the curve of a plastic cup left in a garden after the storm. That is everything Culex pipiens needs. Still water, a few centimeters deep, warm enough to hold heat. She laid 150 of us there, side by side, our shells bonded together in a raft, each egg pressed against the next, coated in a thin wax that keeps us upright, that repels the water so we float instead of sink. We are engineered for the surface before we are anything at all. For 2 days I waited inside my shell, sealed in a dark I couldn't yet perceive. Then something moved in the water above me. A footstep on the ground nearby. A vibration traveling up through the soil, through the container, into the liquid. And a chemical signal locked inside my shell decoded it as now. I hatched as a larva. Head, wriggling abdomen, nothing more. I hung upside down from the surface film, breathing through a siphon tube at the tip of my tail, drawing air from above, while the rest of me dangled in the water below. The broth was thick with bacteria, algae, and decomposing matter, and I swept it into my mouth with spinning bristles, filtering hundreds of times my own body weight every day. 4 days later, my skin stopped fitting. A hard casing sealed around me. I was about to become something the water could no longer contain. I emerged from the water at dusk, and the world that received me was nothing like the one I had left. You would see a garden, a wedge of dim air between buildings, nothing moving. I see rivers. The air is full of invisible currents, each one carrying a different message, and I can read all of them at once. Carbon dioxide pours from your sleeping window in a slow, warm column, your breath drifting outward, And my antennae, which carry more than 300 individual chemical sensors, turn into that current the way a compass needle finds north. I have been following your breath since I was 40 meters away. Closer in, the signals sharpen. Your skin releases a blend of volatile organic compounds that is as individual as your face. Lactic acid from your muscles, ammonia from your sweat, uric acid from your kidneys, and a particular note left by the bacteria living in the creases of your ankles. Each host has a signature. I can smell the difference between you and the person sleeping in the next room. I choose. I don't stumble. And there is heat. My compound eyes, with hundreds of facets in each, are tuned for movement, not detail. In darkness, they give me outlines, shapes, direction. What gives me precision is the infrared. Your body is a warm island in a cool room, and I track its gradient the way a pilot descends toward a lit runway, reading the temperature of the air against my face as I close the distance. This is my world, not the one you see when you look at a bedroom or a yard. Mine is built from heat gradients, chemical rivers, and the slow rhythm of a sleeping heartbeat heard through thin walls. At 12 meters, I pick a landing site. At 3, I slow. At 0, I am still.
Let me be precise about what I am, because almost everything your kind believes about me is half wrong. My brothers drink nectar. Every day of their short lives, 7 to 10 days at most, they visit flowers, they lap the honeydew left by aphids, they function as pollinators in the same quiet food webs that hold your world together. They cannot bite. Their mouth parts are too soft, too blunt for the work. You have never once been bothered by a male mosquito. You wouldn't recognize one if you saw it. I am female, and I am different only because I am building eggs. Producing a viable egg requires protein, specifically the iron-rich hemoglobin packed into your red blood cells. Nectar gives me carbohydrates to fly. Blood gives me iron to reproduce. Finding you was systematic, not accidental. Carbon dioxide drew me to your neighborhood. Your body heat narrowed it to your room. The compound 1-octin-3-ol, a molecule produced by the bacteria on your skin, the particular culture living in the creases of your ankles, brought me to this exact patch of wrist where the radial vein runs shallow and fast. My proboscis is a 6-part surgical instrument. Each component evolved for a different task. The 2 maxillae saw through your tissue in a side-to-side motion you cannot feel. The 2 mandibles stabilize the incision. The labrum is the drinking tube, drawing blood upward. And the hypopharynx, the 6th piece, pumps saliva down into your wound, an anticoagulant to keep your blood fluid, a vasodilator to widen the vessel. The itch you feel tomorrow is your immune system reacting to it, mounting a defense against something already long gone. In 3 minutes, I will have drawn 2 to 3 times my own body weight in blood. I will find somewhere dark and still and spend 3 days turning your iron into the shells of my children. Your hand begins its descent before I finish drinking, and only the oldest machinery in my body saves me. I have 2 organs most insects don't. Halteres, tiny drumstick-shaped gyroscopes vibrating at my wing beat frequency, where rear wings once were. They read every rotation and tilt of my body 60 times per second. When the pressure wave rolling ahead of your palm reaches my legs, the halteres fire before my brain has finished deciding. I bank hard. Your palm closes on the air where I was sitting 1 millisecond before, and the crack of the impact rings through my antennae as I clear your wrist. I am gone. This is not luck. The halteres that just saved my life existed in my lineage before the first flowers bloomed on this planet. My ancestors survived the asteroid that erased the great reptiles, ice ages, chemical repellents, electric grids on your porch. There are 30,500 known species of us, on every continent except Antarctica. And in 200 million years of fossil record, we have never once come close to extinction. We have also killed more humans than any other animal in your history. Not by eating them, but by carrying passengers in our saliva. Malaria, dengue, yellow fever, Zika. An estimated 52 billion people across recorded history. More than all wars combined. I, Culex pipiens, carry none of those things. My salivary glands hold nothing but anticoagulant. But somewhere near your window tonight, an Anopheles gambiae or an Aedes aegypti is looking for a way in. I was not the one you needed to worry about.
3 nights after I found you, I find the puddle. It is in a forgotten planter on a balcony. 2 inches of still, dark water. The surface barely moving. My abdomen is heavy. The eggs already packed, already fertilized. The male found me on my first night out in the swarm that gathered at dusk above the hedgerow. We mated in the air in under 3 seconds. He is dead now. He lived 8 days, drank only nectar and water, and left nothing in the world but half the genetics of what I'm about to release. I descend to the surface. I begin. The eggs emerge one by one, each bonding to the next with a wax secreted from glands in my abdomen, forming the raft. 200 eggs in 12 minutes, floating upright on the surface tension, sealed against drowning by a chemistry older than trees. They do not need warmth to time their hatching. They need a vibration, a footstep on the ground nearby, a raindrop on the water's surface, any low-frequency shudder that signals a living world overhead. In 48 hours of good conditions, my larvae will be hanging from the surface film, spinning their mouth brushes, filtering the water the way I once did. If the water holds, if the temperature holds, if nothing eats them, 12 days later they will rise from the surface as adults. I may do this once more, if I am lucky. One more raft, one more night of finding a host, one more 3-minute meal. The dragonflies are hunting in the afternoons. Bats work the air at 2 in the morning. There are spiders in every corner of every eave. My lifespan is perhaps 10 more days, perhaps 2 weeks. But this raft is already more than enough. This raft is everything. My children do not need me to survive. They are already reaching 1 millimeter at a time toward the surface of the world. The whist, the iron, the raft. That was always the whole plan. Every life you have lived on this channel was shaped by something you couldn't see. The current, the tentacle, the migration.
Mine was shaped by the warmth of a wrist in the dark and a raft of 200 eggs in a forgotten planter. You can swat us and spray us. We will return. We have been returning for 200 million years. Subscribe. Live more lives like mine.